Pokemon Legends ZA has a new trailer. It's time for the latest news out of Japan. We can't have Pokemon Day without at least one internet-shattering announcement, can we? Fans have waited eagerly for more information on Pokemon ZA. It's been so long since the announcement that many joked that the project was delayed or cancelled. The wait is finally over with this new reveal. The trailer showed many new details about the game, including how battles will work, which Pokemon will be available, and how the story will take place in Lumiose City. The game is different from previous Pokemon games and will introduce new mechanics that change the way players battle and interact with Pokemon. Pokemon Legends ZA takes place in Lumiose City, a large city from Pokemon X and Y. However, this version of Lumiose City is different from how it appeared in the past. The city is being redeveloped to become a better place for both Pokemon and humans. There are new green areas, more parks, and improved buildings. Some parts of the city will be familiar to players who have visited Lumiose City before, but many areas have been changed. At the center of the city stands Prism Tower, which remains an important landmark. The player will arrive in the city as a visitor and will stay in an old hotel, which acts as the main base during the adventure. Around Lumiose City, there are special wild zones where Pokemon and humans live together. These areas are where players can battle and catch Pokemon. Unlike Legends Arceus, which took place in an open and natural environment, Pokemon Legends ZA is focused on an urban setting. This means that travel and exploration will be different from previous games. Instead of riding Pokemon like in Legends Arceus, the player will rely on their Rotom phone to move between rooftops and different areas of the city. Since the game is set in a city, it does not have the wide open world structure of other recent Pokemon games. Instead, it has a more structured environment with different sections of the city and designated wild zones where Pokemon can be found. Some of these areas are blocked off at first and can only be accessed later in the game. The Pokemon Legends series changes the traditional turn-based battle system of older Pokemon games. Pokemon Legends ZA will introduce a new style of battle where both the player and their Pokemon move in real time. Instead of taking turns selecting moves, trainers will have to consider their position and timing during battles. Pokemon moves will have different ranges and areas of effect, making positioning very important. Some moves will take time to charge before they can be used, while others may have a cooldown period before they can be used again. This new battle system adds an extra layer of strategy compared to previous Pokemon games. Players will still be able to catch Pokemon without battling them, similar to Pokemon Legends Arceus. However, the trailer suggests that capturing Pokemon now involves a lock-on system rather than free aiming with the Pokeball. This means that while players do not always have to enter battle to catch a Pokemon, they will have to use the targeting system rather than throwing Pokeballs freely like in Legends Arceus. The three starter Pokemon in Legends ZA are Chikorita, Tempig, and Totodile. These Pokemon are from different generations, and this is the first time they have been chosen as starters together. The trailer shows Chikorita using the move Disarming Voice, which is a fairy-type move that Chikorita has never been able to learn before. This could mean that Chikorita's final evolution, Meganium, might have a new Mega Evolution with a fairy typing. Mega Evolution is returning in Pokemon Legends ZA. This feature was first introduced in Pokemon X and Y, but it has not been included in many recent Pokemon games. Mega Evolution allows certain Pokemon to temporarily transform into stronger forms during battle. It is unclear which Pokemon will receive Mega Evolutions in this game, but the return of this mechanic is exciting for players who enjoyed it in the past. One of the most important characters in the game is AZ. AZ was introduced in Pokemon X and Y as a mysterious ancient man who played a key role in the game's story. In Pokemon Legends ZA, AZ owns the hotel where the player stays. He still claims to be 3,000 years old, and he's accompanied by his eternal flower, Floette, a special Pokemon that has also lived for 3,000 years. AZ was involved in a war in the past and built a powerful weapon, which was a major part of the story in Pokemon X and Y. His role in Pokemon Legends ZA is not fully explained yet, but his presence in the game could mean that his story will be explored further. Zygarde, the legendary Pokemon from Pokemon X and Y, also appears in the trailer. Zygarde is a dragon ground-type Pokemon that has different forms, including a snake-like core, a dog-like 10% form, a humanoid 50% form, and a powerful complete form. In the trailer, trailer, a Zygarde cell can be seen moving through the city, suggesting that Zygarde might play a big role in the game's story. Zygarde's connection to balance and order may relate to the changes happening in Lumiose City. The trailer also shows some new mechanics that were not in previous games. For example, there is a first-person view of the Rotom Foam displaying a message that says, "This is a promotion match announcement." This suggests that the game may have a tournament or battle ranking system, though details have not been confirmed yet. There are also two new characters named Urbane and Tawny. Depending on whether the player chooses a male or female protagonist, they will interact more with one of these two characters. It is unclear what role they will play in the story, but they seem to be important to the player's journey in Lumiose City. Some parts of the city are blocked off by numbered hologram gates. These gates might indicate stronger Pokemon inside, or they could be tied to the game's progression system, requiring players to complete certain tasks before entering those areas. One major change in Pokemon Legends ZA is how wild Pokemon behave. In previous games, players had to battle a Pokemon and weaken it before capturing it. In Legends ZA, Pokemon can still be caught without battling, but the trailer shows an interesting new feature. A battle scene with Flaffy shows the Pokemon being defeated, but the player is still able to capture it. This suggests that Pokemon may not always faint after losing a battle, allowing for a different capture mechanic compared to past games. Because Pokemon Legends ZA takes place entirely in a city, some common Pokemon game mechanics may be different. In past games, players could use Pokemon to fly, surf, or climb obstacles. Since this game is set in an urban environment, these mechanics are replaced with new movement options like using the Rotom Phone to float between rooftops. It is unclear if players will be able to ride Pokemon in other ways. The game will be released in late 2025. While this means there is still a long wait before it comes out, more details will likely be revealed in future trailers and updates. This is Pokemon we're talking about. So of course, there has been a ton of buzz on social media about this topic. A lot of fans are excited about this upcoming game for several reasons. Many of them feel the graphics look fantastic, while others are just super excited about the return of Mega Evolutions. Some are just pleased that their favorite characters are getting represented again, such as AZ and Eternal Flower Floette. One opinion that's agreed on by many fans online is that Pokemon Legends ZA looks way better than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. One fan said this: "This is why a year without news is worth it. Pokemon Legends ZA looks even more polished than Scarlet and Violet, and unlike Gen 9, the footage wasn't running at 10 frames per second. On the other hand, some are claiming that Power World looks better, and a couple of them are even going as far as saying that this is the worst video game they've ever seen. The visuals weren't the only grievance fans had with the game, as some are annoyed by the starter trio as well, though we must admit the jokes about Cyndaquil missing are funny. Well, those who aren't finding reasons to feel salty about this new trailer are still anticipating the release of the game, and a couple of them are even predicting that it could be released sometime between September and October. Well, let's just hope it at least drops before GTA 6. In other news, Super Saiyan 4 is back?